Matt Verderame here with Curtis Conway. And Curtis, you were a great wide receiver in the NFL. You see a lot of the NFL tape now for all the good receivers like an Odell Beckham Jr., guys like that. Do you see anybody who could even approach that in this year's draft? Somebody who might come out and be a 1,000-yard receiver right away?
You know what? I think it's tough when you talk about how a guy is going to pan out, especially in their first year, because I think system has a lot to do with it. How much they build the passing game around you has a lot to do with it. You know, when you look at, like you mentioned, Odell Beckham and those guys were special. And the reason why I said they were special, because they understood how to play the pro game. Coming out of LSU, offensive coordinator Cam Cameron, he ran a pro-style offense. When you watch those guys on tape, they understand the concept. They understood what routes and how to run routes versus certain coverages already, him and Jarvis, before they even got here. No one was talking about Jarvis. And he got in the league, Jarvis Landry, he got in the league and he balled because he understood the NFL game from an offensive standpoint. So to your point, I think guys like Corey Coleman, Josh Dotson, Treadwell, all these guys can be really good. I think it just comes down to who drafts them and, number one, how fast they pick up on the offense and how much the offense is geared toward them where they're being moved around to be put in situations to be successful.
If you're a GM, what are you looking for the most out of a receiver? Is it the 40-yard time? Is it the route running? What do you see and say, okay, this guy can translate?
First and foremost, toughness. Believe it or not, you're going to take your dings in the league. You have to be able to get back up and roll. Route running and field sense, because in zone coverages, you got to be able to understand what they're doing. And a lot of times young guys don't do it in college because they live off their talent versus playing smart. That's kind of hard to see on film to a certain degree, but you can see if a guy has a feel, okay, versus cover three and you run a certain route. Do you know how to separate what to do? And then these are little things, but these are the most important things. That's why you see guys that are not that fast still be successful in the National Football League, because they understand these little things that really matter, whereas college guys and I would say fans, oh, this guy can run, he's big, he can catch, all the measurables, they matter, but it's the little things that I look for in a wide receiver that I feel like can help them be successful. You know, case in point with Treadwell, you know, he was rated number one wide receiver, but then everyone was sitting back waiting for his 40 time, and he didn't blow everybody away with it. But when I sat and talked with him, you know, I told him, clear out, you know, you're the number one receiver. You're going to have a bullseye on your back, and all these corners know that you're not blazing speed. So I got up in his face like I was press coverage, like, what do you do? And the way he broke down the little things about getting open and understanding how to get open and where he needs to get open and separate really showed me. But not only is this guy's a good athlete, but he understands who he is and he understands how to get open. And he made another point in saying, look, I've practiced and I've played against guys that are faster than me all the time in the SEC, and I've played pretty well. So with that confidence and seeing that he already understands gave me a lot of confidence that he should have some success given the right system.
When you got drafted into the NFL, what was your biggest adjustment on the field that you had to make to become successful?
Everything. You know, I only had a full year of experience as a wide receiver, and I got drafted really based on my athletic ability, someone that was able to get the ball in his hands and make plays. As a pure wide receiver, I wasn't even the best wide receiver on my team, but I had all the tools to be. And so one of the things I had to work on, number one, is just being a route runner, because I always relied on my speed to get open. And in this level, people know how to counter your speed with different techniques that they use, and I didn't understand that because I got away with it in college. You know, film study, being able to understand how they're trying to play you based on who you are. And it's not just about outrunning everyone, but okay, versus this coverage, this guy likes to play inside because this is a weakness. Film study was huge for me, and I think more importantly, just not relying on athletic ability all the time and becoming a student, because I had to be a student. And having guys like Jeff Graham, who we brought over to Chicago in my second year, helped teach me from an on-the-field standpoint. It's one thing to have a coach to teach you the system and the X's and O's. It's another thing to have a mentor as a receiver that's a vet, that's been there, that can say, look, Seaway, you're fast, but you're not using your speed the right way. Do this, do that, add this, add that, take this away, and you have that kind of respect for him, where I was very blessed to have a guy like that to help me elevate my game, because Jeff Graham was a huge piece in my career, because he helped me become a pure wide receiver versus just a speed guy.
Last question from me. Who do you see maybe in the second day or even the third at the wide receiver position who you say, this guy's undervalued, he could come in, he could make a difference for a team?
Two guys come to mind right away. Mike Thomas out of Ohio State. Some projected him to be a first-round draft pick. He can easily go in the second round and be a value pick. And another guy is Sterling Shepard out of Oklahoma. He's a guy that reminds me of Corey Coleman. They can do the same thing. Shep has been around. He can play outside, he can play in the inside, and I've watched him run routes from the outside. I mean, he's run pro routes and he's running real precise and got open, whether it was press or off. So those are two wide receivers I think that if they went in second or third round, they can make an immediate impact depending on who drafts them.
Okay, Curtis Conway, thanks a lot.
Oh, no worries, thank you.